Hello, and welcome back to another TCAN video. So even the prisoners of Naxx want me to stop, and I can't blame them, which brings us to today's video, how to get Naxx 25 gear solo. Now if you guys find these types of guides helpful, I would really appreciate it if you guys death grip the hell out of that like and subscribe button, as it really does help me out. And what made me think of this was back in Classic, I used to do the same exact farm for Frozen Runes, and then I realized Blizzard didn't make any of the dungeon changes in Wrath like they said they were, and I wondered if this kite would still work. Now, really the only way that you're going to be able to do this solo is if you have some type of AoE slow, but as you'll soon see, you can always do the farm with a friend who does have a slow, and it tends to go much quicker this way. I will also say at the start here that I much rather prefer the duo method over the solo method, but I did want to show that it is still possible in case you don't have any friends like me. So this farm can be done on both 25 and 10 man, and as you can see from the trash loot tables, there's some really good Death Knight gear in both 10 and 25 mans that we're going to want to farm out. And what better way to pick up gear when there's no competition? Also, just to show you guys, by my third run, I was able to pick up some pretty sweet Boomkin boots, which is really just unfortunate because it wasn't a Silent Crusader. For this farm, I'll go ahead and leave a link to my talents and glyphs in the description below, but we're going to want to be picking up Chillblains and Howling Blast from the Frost Tree, and then for glyphs, we're going to want to pick up Glyph of Howling Blast, Glyph of Death and Decay, and Glyph of Icy Touch. The reason for this is because our Howling Blast is an AoE spell, and when we have Glyph of Howling Blast, it applies Icy Touch to all of our targets, which means all of them will be affected by Chillblains and essentially be slowed. Starting off this pull, we're going to be going to the Plague Wing and making sure we're in Unholy Presence for movement speed. We're then going to cast Howling Blast on the first pack, aggroing the second pack on the right by running by, and then aggroing the pack in the back for a total of 9 ghouls. Once we have them, we'll go ahead and cast Hungering Cold to freeze the mobs in place, and then we'll bring the rest of them to the entrance to start kiting in a circle. Now, I will warn you here that even though I made that look easy, that pull takes a lot of practice, and most likely you're going to be dying quite a few times until you can get it down. The second hard part here is now trying to juggle the mobs with the slows to get them to group up. This is where we'll want to cast our Icy Chains, but be careful because Icy Chain slow overrides Chillblains, so you'll need to only use it when you think you can slow a mob down enough so the rest of the pack can catch up. If you do this incorrectly, then you'll have 2 packs that you're going to be kiting around, and the mobs will eventually catch up to kill you. Now that the mobs are grouped up, the only thing left to do is to kite them around while we kill them, and make sure to avoid getting hit by the slow-moving slimes, which are very easy to dodge. And to save you from falling asleep with me just doing hundreds of circles, I'm going to go ahead and skip to the end of this pull. So now that we're at the end of the solo pull, you can see that the Death Knight run takes about 18 minutes to do, and all things considered, that's actually not that bad considering each mob has about a 1% chance of dropping an epic. So now let's get into my personal favorite, the 2-man pull. The start of the pull is the same exact thing that we did for the solo pull. So we're just going to be gathering all the mobs up here, and then we're going to be casting our Hungering Cold to freeze them in place, and then we're just going to group them up for kiting. Once the mobs are grouped up, which is about 1 or 2 times around the circle, that's when the mage is going to come in and start casting Living Bomb on all the ghouls. And as you'll quickly see here, with the mage's help, we can get through this pack in about 6 to 7 minutes instead of the 18 minutes from the solo method. I will also tell you guys that this happened to be a random mage that I found off the streets of Dalaran, and he was able to pick this up with about 10 minutes of practice and no voice comms. So right about here, I would say the mobs are in a pretty tight clump. So I take him to the mage and you'll see him start casting Living Bomb on everything. And you can just watch these mobs' health drop. Well, there you guys have it, the Duo Trash Farm to Naxx. And if you found this video helpful, I would really appreciate it if you guys liked and subscribed, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.